Hey dude, have you seen Benny? Who the hell is Benny? Ligma balls. Ah, not again. Hey kid, you want to talk about global warming? Hey guys, Alex from 7th Hour Films back again with Doctor Who. Last time on Doctor Who, we had Orphan 55, where the Doctor and the gang arrive at this resort, basically, on a planet, and they realize that they're stuck in some weird global warming PSA. And yeah, there's a lot. There's a whole lot to talk about. There's this dad and his son, and they have stupid green hair. There's this lady. There's this girl who's trying to get revenge on this other lady who is actually her mother. There's a whole lot of stuff about that. There's a dumb elderly couple. And I believe Hyphen with a 3, who I believe is what they call a jellicle cat. Don't quote me on that. I'm not quite up to date on my cat terminology. And there were these dregs that were kind of an interesting design, but they weren't really shot very well. And there was a big global warming PSA, basically, that was like, if you don't want to turn into monsters, fix the planet. And it's like, okay, I get what you're saying, but you're less Doctor Who and more Captain Planet. Overall, it was just not a good time. So, yeah. Hopefully this episode will be better. I mean, after Orphan 55, it's kind of a low bar, so I'll take anything at this point. So, yeah. So with that enthusiasm, let's go ahead and get into this episode of Doctor Who. Here we go.
Gentlemen, I, Nikola Tesla, have invited you here to pull back the curtain. Shall we begin? Oh, sir, ladies and gentlemen.
I already like this. This is cool.
I only require the small investment of $50,000.
$50,000?
That's a small investment.
Small price to pay to transmit energy through the ether, but no wires.
You mean flying around in the air? Poppycock. They're even more far-fetched than those Mars stories that we've all been hearing about.
I'm sure you gentlemen know better
Mars
than to believe
stories?
everything you read in the Times.
My work is not a fairy tale.
Aw, man. Trouble with investors.
About a year.
Uh-oh. It's a bit more complicated than your designs. Whoa.
Oh, hi.
Hi, Doc.
Have you seen anything weird around here?
Whoop.
That was a yes.
Yes.
Mind if I join you?
Oh, they got shot.
I'm Nikola Tesla, and I assure you I have no idea.
Nuh.
Tesla. I knew you looked familiar. It's only Nikola Tesla.
Oh.
Who?
Nicholas Summon?
Total genius.
Yeah, the kids don't know.
It's quiet.
Why is it gone quiet?
Yeah. Good question. Went to the roof. Whoop. Ah. It's a terrible aim, too. Oh, what, you don't need it? Oh, he's gonna electrify them.
Oh, it's twisted together.
Use the gun! Whoop! Oh, bye. Hope there was no one else on that train. Whoa.
Silurian blaster. Nasty.
Silurian.
But here's the funny part. We're not letting you out of our sights until we've worked this out.
Excuse me.
So where's this lab then?
No. Oh. Yeah, she's happy to go with them. Oh, man. Old-timey New York has never looked better.
New York. This
My inventions never hurt anyone. Your last invention caused an earthquake. Those were only mild
Why are
tremors.
you
Tuh.
building weapons on Long Island? Mr. Tesla isn't building any kind of weapon or going to answer
it's
any
gotta be all-
questions. Excuse me.
Lunatic, you don't belong in America.
Nuh.
I'm an American citizen,
Oh shit.
and you are trespassing in front of my land.
Tesla's lab.
Oh my gosh.
This is gonna be something special.
She's about to fangirl.
I won't lie. I was expecting more.
Okay. She wanted to fangirl.
Is he something to do with the cars then?
Yeah, well, they're named after him. He's a famous inventor, isn't he, Doc?
Yeah?
Yeah.
And what did he invent?
Well, he invented the,
Yeah, alright. I'm kind of with
what do you
Graham.
call it? Tell him, Doc.
Doc.
Nikola Tesla dreams up the 20th century before it happens. It's an orb of Thassa, but I've no idea what it's doing here.
Cool.
They built these orbs as a way to spread information, to send out among the stars, as a way to share their legacy long after they were gone.
Like
When
Voyager.
someone tried to kill us,
Well, that instrument detects energy. Is it your own design?
I made it, mainly out of spoons.
Nuh. Yeah.
You're an inventor.
I have my moments.
Yeah.
Do it. So you can understand how it feels. You know, when you have an idea and to make it real. I don't think there's any greater thrill.
I couldn't agree more.
Oh.
It can be difficult, you know, to feel no one else sees the world the way you do. It's like
Oh.
you're,
Out of place.
yeah.
Wow, the two of them get each other.
I thought I'm never gonna be able to prove it works.
Who's that?
Oh.
That was Harold Green, one of Edison's men.
Oh shit.
Thomas Edison.
Be daft. How's Edison's men gonna get their hands on a Slimurian laser blaster?
Silurian.
Yeah.
Let's go and find out. You three, stay here.
Are we gonna go visit him?
You two.
AC is the most deadly force known to science.
Is that him?
For the public safety.
That fuck Thomas Edison?
Generator issue.
Well, not exactly a shrinking violet, is he? I mean, he's plastering his name all over the shop.
Nuh.
Tooting your own horn.
I have never
He's the reason Hollywood was created.
in my life.
Because they fucking hated him and left.
Imagine if, wherever you were able to hear music or the speech of a great leader or conjure a map of what lay beyond. That's what I propose with Wardenclyffe, all of human knowledge shared freely.
Now that sounds like the future.
That's,
Yeah.
that's
Well,
incredible.
change the world. Why can't anyone else see that?
Oh, man.
There must be someone who'll invest in it.
No one else see this? Jesus! This guy's got no peripheral. Oh no, he's got peripheral! Okay. Oh, they want Tesla. Whoop! Oh, there's scorpions! Oh! Oh god! It's like the Rachnos.
I was at home, you know, normal life, work, then boom, the doctor.
That's how it happens.
I was the same before I met Mr. Tesla. I wanted my own career, something steady. Then he showed me all these discoveries that could be made.
I was
It
thinking
seemed like
he's
impossible
so
things.
similar to the Doctor.
And now
We've gathered supplies. Now your work.
On?
What?
Our ship. Our weapons. Everything.
You need Tesla for that.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, well, keep it yourself, or people will say you're as crazy as Tesla.
No.
That, my friend, will never happen.
Yeah, still. Make you jump at the chance of having back working for you, wouldn't you?
Yeah?
Yeah.
How'd you figure that?
Because I had a supervisor like you at my old depot.
No.
And men like you don't pay a bloke that much attention unless you think there's a payout coming.
That's a good point.
Somewhere.
You're right. I'm sorry. This is all my fault. You shouldn't even be here.
just because you're a genius doesn't mean you have to figure everything out on your own.
Yeah.
We're in this together.
Besides, this ain't her first rodeo.
You trespass on my ship.
Oh, this is your ship. Because it looks Venusian to me, and I'm pretty sure that's a Klendov warp drive. Is there a single
She's a
thing
thief.
on this ship that you've built yourselves?
That's why she needs Tesla.
She will assist Tesla.
No. Ah. Now see the magic man.
Fantastical.
Oh, I love
I
it.
couldn't figure it out either. The internal dimensions transcends the external.
Spot on.
No, it's bigger on the inside. That's all you had to say.
You do realize it's killing Edison that they want you and not him.
Well,
My intention was to build a series of these towers, transmitting energy throughout the ether. A world wireless system. That's Wi-Fi.
no.
Did Tesla have the idea for Wi-Fi?
In 1900.
But with enough power.
At least I have ideas. You have filled the factory
Oh.
for me to do your thinking for you.
You're too blind to see that my factory is the best idea either one of us ever had.
You're too narrow-minded to grasp the genius of my work, and that is why you will never achieve real greatness. You're not a man of vision. You're a man of parts.
Oi, AC/DC. You two might be the greatest minds of the age, but is there any chance you can stop squabbling while we try and save the planet?
No.
We need to move quickly. We have to prepare the tower.
If anything, Edison is like the Skithra. Drop kick him. Whoa. Or a gun.
Where the hell did...
When did you get that?
Just be glad I did.
Yeah, but you missed. Ah.
Oh my dear Lord, what is that?
A scorpion demon. Where's Dwayne Johnson? Oh, they're fast fuckers. A bit clumsy though. Whoop, they're really clumsy actually. Oh, good shot. Oh yeah, that'll help.
Sure this is right.
What? What's gonna keep them out then?
We are. Don't worry, this ain't our first rodeo.
We've
No.
never been to a rodeo.
You're not helping, Ryan.
Yeah, come on, man. It's figure of speech. I mean, could you just stay in the TARDIS? It's not like they can get into there. Oh, I like the blue crystal.
Lost the ship because the Queen's no longer on it.
Oh. She's down here. Ugh.
What was the plan? To shiver in the dark until we went away?
He's... Well, he had a gun.
Oh, you really are fragile creatures, aren't you? It's a miracle your world has spun on so long and disturbed. Now tell me.
No, there's a reason for that.
Where is he? No weapons, no armor, no escape. Just the desperate hope
It's the first thing you notice about the Doctor of War.
Way past that.
We will overrun this world and pick the bones clean. Have you ever seen a dead planet?
I've seen a lot.
I've seen more than you can possibly imagine.
Yeah.
And what were you planning to do with this?
Nothing, I just wanted you to take it.
No. Wow. Put her back. Come on. Yes. All right, get out of here. You had your chance. Oh, they left. Good job.
There you go, kid. Thank you.
The Night of Terror. Now I get it.
Now this all changes, right? The protests, the funding. Tesla's towers just saved the world. That's gotta mean rich and famous. No,
They don't know that.
nothing's changed.
You have to let me study that machine of yours. It is by far the most magnificent invention I've ever seen in my life.
No.
Never mind the TARDIS. You've got enough magnificent inventions of your own.
Well,
Don't give up. Whatever anyone says.
Well, let them talk. The present is theirs. I work for the future.
oh, I like that.
The future is mine.
Oh, shit.
Shall we?
Alrighty. Wait just a gosh darn second. Is that who I think that is? I fucking knew it. I knew it! Okay. Just as the credits were going up, I saw... Well, first off, I was looking at Tesla and Edison because I wanted to see who they were. But I see Queen Skithra. Oh, how on earth would I pronounce that? Okay, I can't, unfortunately, I'm sorry, I can't pronounce the actress's name. But it's Ronnie from the Sarah Jane Adventures. As soon as I saw it, I was like, wait a second, that's fucking Ronnie. Oh, that is so awesome. And I did not recognize her whatsoever in that role as the Skithra Queen. But I remember when she first showed up and, she's like acting, she's going crazy. And I was like, man, this actress is good, whoever she is. Okay. And actually, so I went to her IMDb page and it shows on there Doctor Who, Queen Skithra. Interesting thing though, I just noticed on her IMDb page, there's a TV show called Daleks. What on earth is that? Sorry, I'm taking a second. Dalek, Time Lord Victorious Daleks. What the hell? But she plays the Mechanoid Queen. What the hell is this? The Daleks plundering the archive of Islos unearth something ancient and deadly. Soon Skaro is under attack and the Dalek Emperor is on the run. Can the Daleks defeat their adversaries and regain their... What is this? Okay, well that's beside the point. The point is... That was Ronnie as Queen Skithra. That's fucking awesome, man. Oh, that is so cool. Man, I loved Ronnie. I loved her in the Sarah Jane Adventures. That's so cool to get her... obviously, it'd be cooler to get her as Ronnie, but that's so cool having her be Queen Skithra. For a character who's not even the greatest character, she's just sort of our generic, alien villain for the episode, but she's like 10 times cooler now that I know it's Ronnie. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are back on track after last episode. We are definitely back. That was really, really good. And again, these historicals, man, I can't believe, it's so crazy because, okay, obviously, when I'm scheduling out Doctor Who and I'm writing down all the episodes and stuff, when I see Nikola Tesla's Night of Terrors, obviously I know, okay, they're going to go back and meet Nikola Tesla, and that's going to be the historical episode, a historical episode in Series 12. So, after Rosa and Demons and even the Witchfinders, which wasn't as good as those two, but it was still pretty dang good, after those three in Series 11, I was kind of sitting here thinking, oh man, I hope they can keep that going, I hope they can keep that going. And guess what? They did. They did keep that going. I cannot believe how amazing these historicals have been. If there is one thing I feel like anyone can agree on with the 13th Doctor is that 13's historicals knock them out of the friggin' park, I'm telling you, if you ever... Even if you don't like the 13th Doctor's era, I feel like you have to like these historicals, man. They are just so good, So, oh man, what a great episode. And again, even with, I guess sort of the same situation as Rosa, where it's like, okay, here, our villain is not amazing, but the rest of it is pretty amazing. You know, like, yeah, Queen Skithra, despite, you know, that it's cool that she's played by Ronnie, despite that, Queen Skithra is not a great villain. She just kind of is, you know? Like, okay, like, it's an interesting concept, at least, with, like, you know, okay, this is a thief, basically. This is a race of thieves that steal all their stuff. So, that's at least kind of interesting, you know, like an interesting concept. But otherwise, I don't know. Otherwise, I don't know. It's not really that crazy. You know what I kind of miss, though? I kind of miss the Doctor, I guess, boasting, you know? Like, I missed the times when the Doctor, okay, here's what I'm trying to say. In this situation, one thing that gets annoying is that the villains always underestimate the Doctor. And that always happens, you know? The villains will always underestimate the Doctor. It's like, oh, okay, who's this person? Like, whatever. Like, whatever, your tiny minds and stuff like that. But there was always the occasional moment, and this has happened with pretty much every Doctor, where they stop and it's like, oh, you know, and who are you supposed to be? And they say, I'm a Time Lord from the planet Gallifrey, you know? And I keep waiting for 13 to do that, you know? And she could still do it even with Gallifrey destroyed again, you know? Because that was the thing, was even, you know, the other Doctor said that too, you know? So, I'm still waiting for that moment where 13 says, I'm a Time Lord. Like, and I know she, you know, told the gang on the TARDIS, but that's not the same. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm saying when she tells that to an enemy of, like, you don't know who you're fucking with, you know? I'm a Time Lord from the planet Gallifrey in the constellation of Castorberus. I am 2,000 years old, and I am very cross right now. Something like that. I want something like that, man. Oh. Anyway, let's get into the notes. The first thing I wrote down is Nikola Tesla. What an amazing person to choose for Doctor Who. Because, you know, we always get... one of the great things about meeting someone in these historicals is the Doctor being sort of a fanboy, or in this case a fangirl. And we've had that, especially in the modern Who episodes, where, like, the Ninth Doctor just straight up said, I'm a fan of Charles Dickens. Oh, starting to get them all crossed in my head. But, you know, when he's a super fan of Charles Dickens, or, you know, he accidentally snugs Madame de Pompadour, or he's a fan of William Shakespeare, Agatha Christie, just all these people. And so it seems like the perfect person for the Doctor would be Nikola Tesla. Like, here's this scientist, you know, who has these incredible ideas that are so ahead of his time, you know? Because I was also thinking, like, one thought I had during this is, you know, there are a lot of times where you'll get a character who's, like, who uses technology so much, and that's such a part of, you know, their character. But then, you know, once you take all that technology away, they don't have anything, you know? But the Doctor is not that. There are so many times where you take everything away from the Doctor, and they can still pull something off, you know? Take away all of the Doctor's tools, they can still do something, you know? Which that was like the one good thing about last episode, was that line where it's like, if I had crayons and a half a can of Spam, I could make you from scratch. Like, that's how incredible the Doctor is. So, putting the Doctor in this situation where it's like, alright, here's an inventor from 1900 who, you know, who doesn't have, like, he has ideas and stuff, but his technology, let's face it, you know, even by today's standards, you could say, like, well, it's primitive. It's interesting, and it's forward-thinking, it's progressive, and it's, and he definitely has an idea for the future, but obviously, a lot has changed in terms of technology. So to see the Doctor completely fangirl over him and these inventions is just great, you know? So I love all of that. And Tesla, really great actor we got on Tesla. I should, because I still have it pulled up here. I should look at who plays Tesla, because he was really good. Honestly, like, as I was watching, I was like, this guy could be the Doctor, honestly. Like, if you give him the accent, he could be the Doctor. So, let's see. I'm not really getting anything on here. Oh well, that's okay. I mean, both he and Edison looked familiar. I'm on Edison's page now, the actor. See if I recognize him. They both looked familiar, but it doesn't seem like I recognize them from anything. Ironically, the two guys where I was like, they look familiar, I don't know them, but Queen Skithra, who I wasn't even thinking about, turned out to be Ronnie, you know? Oh, man. I just love that. I just love that Ronnie was the villain in this episode. Like, that's so cool, you know? Oh, hello. He was in a Doctor Who episode. It was the Caves of Androzani, which I think people have told me is a 5th Doctor episode. Okay. Well, I haven't seen that, obviously, but I haven't seen that, but that's pretty cool that he was in Doctor Who before, in classic Doctor Who. So yeah, but the two of them were really, really good, and I really loved Tesla, you know? Let's see, we had the Orb of Thasor. A very interesting thing. Again, I love that, you know, well, first off, how they originally describe it, it's like, okay, this thing was sent out to, you know, basically spread the story of that people, you know, the people that created it. That is, and it's interesting that they didn't reference this, but that's Voyager, you know? That is the Voyager. I guess they're not Voyager. Well, are they Voyager probes? They're not really probing for anything, though. But, well, I mean, they do send information back, you know? But that was the thing. The old Voyager, they can't be shuttles, because shuttles implies that they take something. I guess it's probe. If it's not, I mean, you guys know what I'm talking about. If they're not called the Voyager probes, you can feel free to correct me in the comments. But I'm pretty sure they're called the Voyager probes. But that was the thing, was that on the Voyager probes, they have like this disc basically that has like a lot of information about Earth and human civilization. On the off chance, you know, that anyone finds, you know, if there is alien life out there, if they find it, they can learn about Earth and about humans and everything. And I know there's like specific instructions on like how to play the disc and everything, which is pretty cool. And if I'm correct, I think one of them might be Voyager 2. I mean, I guess it's a 50-50 shot of which one it is. I think it's Voyager 2 that's getting close to... It's either running out of power or it's getting to a distance where it's not going to be able to send any information back, you know? I think it's that it's running low on power. I don't know, I haven't really heard about it in a while, but I think that was one of the last things I heard, was that like it sent out like a final message before losing power. So, but yeah. So, but I mean, they're still flying out there. They're still heading out. So maybe, who knows? But that is similar with the Orb of Thasor, that was its purpose, was to go out among the universe and basically tell the story of, you know, the people that built it. So that was really, really cool. I like how they include like other space age stuff into this episode with Tesla, you know? Like, that's so cool. We had the protests, which was interesting. Protesting the Mad Tesla, which was that was pretty interesting. You know, like, okay, they think he's a madman, like, oh, he's talking to aliens and stuff like that. So, I mean, that's pretty interesting. All that, it's like, yeah, you don't really. Obviously, yes, you know, nowadays when we hear the word Tesla, we think of Tesla cars and, you know, Elon Musk and him sending a car into space, even though Joseph Joestar did it first. And so that's what we think of when we hear Tesla, but nobody really thinks about the man that Tesla, you know, the Tesla company is named for, Nikola Tesla. And yeah, it's interesting to hear the history that, yeah, he did have his inventions, but he didn't really succeed that much. You know, he didn't succeed. He kept inventing, but eventually he lost funding and he died penniless, but his name is remembered even vaguely in the future. And it is kind of sad because it's like, you know, they say like, oh, well, history leaves him behind, but, you know, like he is like, you think like, well, he'll be remembered, but then you think, oh, well, here's, you know, Ryan and Yaz, who don't know who he is. And even Graham, who recognizes the name Nikola Tesla and knows he's an inventor, can't name a single thing he invented, you know? Meanwhile, all three of them are like, oh, Edison, he made the light bulb. Got it, you know? So, it's honestly, it's kind of sad, you know? It slightly... Is there a better example of this in New Doctor Who? I guess... Well, okay. Actually, yes, there is. Jesus. I was about to reference Charles Dickens again, and how, you know, at the end he was like, you know, will I be remembered? And the Doctor did reassure him. But a way better example of this is Vincent van Gogh, or Van Gogh, however you choose to pronounce it. That was the most interesting thing when I said, is it Van Gogh or Van Gogh? And people basically responded with yes. That's the first time, like, no one I've ever seen can agree on what his name is, like, how to pronounce it. Which is crazy. You guys always correct me on pronunciations. Just look at the great aluminum debacle of 2018. Was it 18 or 19? Might have been 19, actually. I should look up when that was. Anywho, but Vincent van Gogh was definitely another great example of, you know, here's this guy who is known... See, this is a little worse off because Van Gogh, yes, he is known later, and, you know, they have that whole scene with Bill Nighy. It's like he was one of the greatest painters in the world, you know? And so you get all that, and it's like, oh, okay, after his death, he started to be recognized for his work, you know? It's just that he led such a sad life. Tesla is a bit different now, where it's like, you know, it wasn't maybe necessarily as sad, he wasn't depressed, but he did end up losing basically everything and died a penniless man, and now here's people from the future who barely know what he ever did, you know? It's one of those things where it's like he's remembered, but he's definitely not as remembered or as revered as Van Gogh after his death. Which we're not trying to play, you know, who has the suckier life and is revered more, you know, sort of thing. They're both different, but it's just one of those things where it's like, you know, you look at Van Gogh and it's like, what a horrible, you know, like, just a sad life, you know, just this depression and everything. But he is remembered after his death versus Tesla, who, you know, maybe it wasn't, you know, he obviously didn't have many of the issues that Van Gogh had, but he did, you know, he wasn't recognized for his work. He did have those protesters there, and he died penniless, and he's not even as revered in death. You know, it's just such an interesting, it's an interesting thing, you know? So, again, another great part of this episode. If anything, this episode is basically helping, like, hey, like, this, okay, you want to talk about Doctor Who being an educational show? Fuck the PSA from last episode. This is what Doctor Who excels at. Like, this is good shit right here. You know, it's the same thing when you go back to the historicals of the first Doctor, where it's like, you know, here's, you know, like, okay, yes, obviously, you know, Rome burning down. Was it the Doctor? Was it not the Doctor? I don't know. And he kind of, you know, will joke about it in other incarnations and stuff. But at the same time, you are learning a bit about, the fire that burned down Rome or the French Revolution or, stuff like that through the eyes of the Doctor and his companions that are, making their way through those situations. It's sort of the same here where, where it is like, okay, how do we, let's learn about Nikola Tesla. Well, we're not going to sit here and just, give you a lecture. Let's learn about Nikola Tesla through the eyes of Graham and Ryan and Yaz and the Doctor. Let's see how they interact with Nikola Tesla. Let's not just stop and be like, hey, you need to fix global warming, humans. Let's take a step back and be like, hey, you want to know about Nikola Tesla? Let's go on an adventure with him, So it's very interesting, actually, getting this after the last episode, where the last episode, no, that was not how you do that, That was not how you teach a lesson on Doctor Who. This is how Doctor Who teaches and is a very educational show, Like this, this was great. These historicals, man! Oh my gosh, if anyone ever says that there's nothing good about the 13th Doctor, you metaphorically slap them in the face and tell them the historicals rock fuck. They rock fuck, damn it! Anyway. Speaking of learning about people, Thomas Edison, so that was interesting. Again, when we were going through, I was saying a few more things about Thomas Edison than Nikola Tesla, which is kind of sad. Like, that also proves, like, yeah, I didn't know much about Tesla. I knew, I knew about as much of Tesla as Graham did. I was like, oh yeah, he was a famous inventor. What did he invent? I don't know. I just know he did invent, Whereas, immediately it's like, oh, Thomas Edison, he invented the light bulb. Okay. And I even said, I referenced, the whole thing of, so Thomas Edison is actually the reason that Hollywood was created, because he had the patent, basically, I think it was on the cameras that could film movies, and he was very strict about that patent. So basically, if you wanted to make a movie, you had to go through Thomas Edison. And then just a group of people were like, you know what, fuck Thomas Edison. So they left New York, went to Los Angeles instead, and that's how Hollywood began, I said that with a lot of confidence. I could be wrong about some things. Don't quote me on that. Don't cite me as a source on that information. Go look that up for yourselves. But I'm pretty sure that's how it is that's why Hollywood was created, was because they had to get away from Nikola Tesla and his patents. So they went to the other side of the country, So, and that man, that Edison that is very much the Edison we have here. Like, all right, here's a guy. I like how they say it's ideas versus parts. Tesla is a man of ideas. Edison, I like, honestly, and they don't really highlight this. They don't like shove it down your throat or anything. But if anything, Edison is somewhat similar to the Skithra. Now, he's not completely, whereas, the Skithra is just stealing stuff, but he gathers a bunch of, brilliant people and puts them to work, basically. It is the difference of, like, the businessman versus the idea man. And Tesla, you could basically say, is the starving artist, whereas Edison is, the guy that went and took business courses. He had a business major in college, basically, Like, that is basically the difference between them. And that is highlighted here, that, Thomas Edison, say what you will about him, it's that he brought a bunch of people together to make things, and yes, they had ideas and stuff, but they weren't genius. He just has so many people that it seems like it's evening out with, or even surpassing, Tesla, who is one man with genius, So I just love how that works. And then I like that the specific Tesla invention, basically, that they focus on is Wardenclyffe, which is basically Wi-Fi. Like, it's like, oh, did he have the idea for Wi-Fi? Like, there's me pulling out my Ryan impression. Wait, are you telling me Nikola Tesla had the idea for Wi-Fi? I don't know why Ryan's really fun to do. Ryan and Graham are really fun to imitate. Anyway, their voices are just so fun. But anyway, Wardenclyffe was so fascinating, you know? And just this whole idea, you know, like, oh, what if you could hear a song or a great leader's speech from somewhere else, or you could, you know, be given a map, basically. It's like, he had this idea in 1900. And think about that, where the internet, at least for public use, started, you know, in the 90s. 90 years later is when the public was given the internet. Who knows, you know, and this is because I'm not really up to date on my internet history, and not my actual internet, my browser history. I could make a joke about browser history, you know, don't look at my browser history, I've got weird pictures of Sailor Mercury or some shit. Like, we could just move on from that. Anyway, internet history, I don't really know, I'm not really up to date on that, but, I mean, you know, the internet honestly became publicly available in the 90s. Who knows, you know, really, like, I don't really know, but how long it was in use with, like, you know, the government and the military and everything beforehand. Probably a significant amount of time before the 90s, you know? So, but the fact that Nikola Tesla has the idea for it in 1900 is spectacular, you know? So that was really, really cool. I like all of that. And then to kind of go on the other stuff real quick before we wrap up here. I mean, there's the Scythera, which, I mean, they were an interesting concept. Well, first off, I love the design of, like, okay, here's these, first off, just giant fucking scorpions. But then their queen, she definitely reminded me of the Rachnos queen from The Runaway Bride. It was sort of that. Now, it wasn't the exact same, like, oh, here's, you know, this person with this giant, you know, scorpion body. I was kind of waiting for that, but they never really did that. But the prosthetics were really good. Like, all the makeup was really good. And the first time we see her, I was like, she is really good. This person knows how to act through all that makeup. And the fact that that's Ronnie is just so fucking cool, you know? But anyway. But the whole thing with the Scythera, again, they're sort of our, I mean, they're not like the space racist or anything, you know, from Rosa, but they are still an interesting concept, but then they're really just, you know, in the end, they're really just villain of the week, whatever. But I do like the whole thing of, like, okay, they are thieves, basically. They don't build anything themselves. They steal a lot of parts. That's why they had Silurian blasters. You know, because that's the thing, you know, it sort of throws you for a loop. Like, okay, why do they have Silurian blasters if they're not Silurian? But it's that they steal all their stuff and use it to conquer the galaxy. Very, very interesting. And you can kind of get the slightest parallel between the Scythera and Edison, but they don't really, you know, they don't harp on it, really. But I like that. You can kind of think like, oh, well, it's a bit like that. It's not exactly the same, but it is a bit like that. But them just being just complete thieves is a very interesting idea. But then in the end, it's like, okay, here's this alien who, they're going to destroy the Earth, and they don't know who the Doctor is, and then they're defeated. That's all fine and good, you know? And then I liked using Wardenclyffe for the attack and all that. That was really interesting. And then, I mean, the last thing I wrote down was history. History basically leaves Tesla behind. And it's true. While yes, people nowadays know the name Tesla, they don't really know the man Tesla. And I like that that was highlighted in this episode. Like, yeah, you know, Ryan and Yaz, they don't know Tesla. Graham knows who Tesla is, but couldn't really name any of his accomplishments or anything. So I like taking this episode to learn about Nikola Tesla and a bit about Thomas Edison too, in this just in a way that Doctor Who can do, you know? So this was a really, really great episode. I enjoyed it. Again, these historicals, man, they are something else, I have to say. So if I'm telling you, man, if anyone says there is nothing good about the 13th Doctor's era, you metaphorically slap them in the face and tell them that the historicals are friggin' amazing, you know? I do say metaphorically because I will not be held accountable for anyone who actually slaps someone in the face because of me. So, there you go. But yeah, this was really great, and I'm curious to see where we are going next time. So yeah, with all that being said, I'm Alex from 7th Hour Films, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. If you want to watch more of my Doctor Who reactions, you can click on the playlist, you can subscribe if you haven't done that already, and be sure you hit the notification bell, that's it. You can support me on Patreon, that's it, and you can follow me on social media, links below in the description. See you guys later.